Guys, what's up, and welcome back to the channel. So today we are working on the Civic, and one of the things that I have been meaning to do for actually a really long time is install a catch can. So hopefully most of you guys know, when you're building a lot of power, especially in something like this, you end up just making a lot of crankcase pressure, or more than like a naturally aspirated setup. Especially you're shoving like 30 pounds of boost in the freaking thing. A little bit of that stuff gets past the rings, makes it down in the crankcase, and you have to evacuate that. Or else it's just not good for the engine. So what we're doing today is going to alleviate some of that stuff, thanks to the guys at Motion Raceworks. So they went ahead and sent me out, this is their Billett Toploader dual catch can. So dual entry, it's fully baffled. You guys look down in there, it's got a nice little baffle in it. I already took it apart. It has a little mesh thing so that basically the vapor could kind of come back up through here, so we shouldn't have like a bunch of oil or anything like sloshing out of this thing if we do end up pushing some crankcase pressure or building some excessive stuff, which so far we had it on the dyno and it wasn't doing anything crazy. But yeah, so one of the biggest challenges and the reasons that I haven't done this so far is I guess trying to figure out a good place to actually place the catch can to where it's away from the exhaust. So one of the initial spots, so I had this vibrant catch can we were gonna put back here, but I was just kind of scared that it was back here by the exhaust, and in the case of anything happening, this thing falls down and then you're shooting fireballs right here at the oil. I figured that just wasn't a good idea, and so what I decided to do is actually just work it right here. So I've already been playing with this thing for a little while, kind of figuring out a mount, and so this thing, it's drilled around here on the top, basically all the way around. So you could kind of place this bracket, bend it around, and one of the things that I actually did, we'll go ahead and pull this off, is there was already a hole right there for some pre-existing intercooler piping, and I basically just made a little mount. So once that's actually tight, this thing will just kind of sit down right here, and we'll run the lines. So this is a common place where people actually run some catch can lines. So this is where it goes from the factory. There's a little PCV valve, but it's super tiny. So there's this company, they make it that bolts right here. So this goes to a 10 and then one of the other things I was gonna do is drill a hole obviously in the top of the valve covers, but when you do that, you want to baffle it a little bit so that way, like if you have any oil slosh or whatever in the valve covers, obviously the cams are going to be flinging oil. You don't want that oil to go directly into the line, or else you'll basically get kind of like a false reading of it, like pushing oil out of the catch can. So I was just going to stick with this factory one right here. So this thing, it goes into here and it basically has a chamber that kind of goes across this whole top piece. So we shouldn't have much issues with that. But what I did, where'd it go? Okay, so this is a stainless bung right here. So I was basically just going to weld that right there. So I'll have a 10 AN off of the top of the valve cover, and then I'll have a 10 AN coming basically out of the bottom of the crankcase or in the block. All that stuff is kind of vented up into here, and so yeah, that's kind of the goals. So we'll just hook up a little line right here going over to this catch can. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this up actually and show you guys that. But one of the other things that that I thought was pretty cool too is it comes with two options for a drain. So on the bottom you have this kind of like, it's like a air compressor drain valve, or this is just a plug where you could actually plug it. So since the catch can is actually exposed on the bottom, don't mind my headlight wiring, could actually put this right on the bottom of the catch can, and then if we do have any crankcase stuff, literally we could just reach in here, drain this real quick when we're like swapping tires or something, swapping between slicks, drain it, make sure that the other thing too is when running E85, you'll get a little bit more moisture that'll actually come out of the oil too. So yeah, properly vented crankcase is on the way. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually screw in that little line on the bottom of this thing, and then we'll get this thing all mounted. But yeah, this thing's really freaking nice. It's all billet aluminum. See, I've got it all grimy, but made in the USA too. Nice little O-rings, so you could actually fully take this part and clean it. It comes with some nice Fergola fittings right there with O-rings. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing on there, and then I guess we'll start running some lines. down over there. So I think it's you know, definitely a decent way to get this thing installed, especially packaging wise. That Vibrant one was just kind of big. This one's a little bit more compact, and I think it worked out really well that it's actually sitting there down in that little hole to where we could literally just reach down underneath it. Oh, look at this side, we almost lost a 10 mil. But yeah, I think that's a good way to install it. The plan is to get a 180 degree. That's why I have this a little bit long, to where we can kind of pull it up over here, and then it should just shoot back about right here. So I have plenty of length on that line right there, so we shouldn't have to make a new one or whatever. But went ahead, threw the air filter on it real quick, and we're actually gonna take this thing for a little rip. Go do some logs on the street and see, double check, make sure that our fuel pressure and everything isn't dropping off at all before we take this thing back out on the dyno. So I'm gonna go ahead, fire it up, and take it for a little cruise.
Trevor's out here trying to kill me. Not in the way you would think in the Civic. You can see I'm out of breath. So I just had to push to start the Civic. She's got a little mad. Trevor killed it, so I had to push start it a couple times.
We're good now though.
So I'm a little out of breath. Whew. She rips.
Nice cut. Unless I touch the clutch. Like 30, so I was about 20 again. So I turned it down a little bit just because I didn't like what it was. Alright guys, so as you can see, this thing is an absolute monster on the street. And at 20 pounds, this thing is just, it's insanely fast. How it is, it's really just hard to explain. We didn't get a full pull on the 30, I think it was like 31 pounds because of the boost cut. So it basically cut out pretty soon. I need to do a little bit more adjusting to the fuel tables and stuff. It seems like it's making more steam down low now, especially with the duty cycle in it. So we had some safeties and stuff kind of set up in there, so it didn't kind of let us do a full pull. But man, this thing is absolutely freaking insane. So we're gonna play around with it a little bit more. I'm playing with the tune a little bit more, kind of cleaning up the fuel stuff, trying to get it kind of set up for this. But the next video you see, we're gonna be messing with adding another relay to it, maybe throwing another alternator on it, and then possibly throwing it on the dyno again, just so that we're not doing stuff like that on the street. You know, it's just, this thing's so freaking fast. It just, everything just happens so fast. It's just crazy. So again, huge shout out to Motion Raceworks. Be sure to go ahead and check out their website. It's motionraceworks.com. I'll put the link in the description. But they do make a lot of really cool billet CNC parts, billet aluminum parts, all made here in the USA. They do a lot of stuff with LS's. But yeah, really cool guys over there. Again, James, the guy with the dyno, he actually works for him. That's kind of how I got kind of connected with him. But yeah, really stoked on the catch can setup. Just waiting on the 180 degree fitting that I ordered, but shipping and everything is getting pretty slow. But I'm pretty happy with that install. So yeah, I think that's about it for this video, guys. Really appreciate you watching. If you guys are stoked about the Civic content, be sure to hit that subscribe button and maybe the notification bell. But see you guys later.